Today, it's the Houston Rockets versus the Phoenix Suns.
The heat of summer, over 100 degrees outside, and this semifinals in the West coming to a boil inside. The America West Arena, 19,000 fans for Game 4, and suddenly with this series, no one can win at home. And we want to remind you, we'll keep you in touch with Indianapolis, the Indiana-Atlanta Hawk game, as those of you are particularly concerned about these two teams. Join us here on NBC. And Houston back in it because of that hot shooter, Mad Max.
Well, you know, that's been an interesting story for the Houston Rockets. Who will help the dream? It finally turned out to be Maxwell, who lived up to his reputation. 18 points in the third quarter of play, and from that point on, Houston had their shooters back and their confidence back. Maxwell gave me the secret. He said, if I don't talk to Frank Johnson, I'm okay.
And as hot as Vernon Maxwell was in Game 3 was the coldness, the iciness of the star Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns.
And Charles has been the story for the last couple of days since Game 3. What happened? Barkley said, I just wasn't aggressive. I should have been out there making something happen. I guarantee Game 4, I'm going to make something happen, good or bad.
Sir Charles not happy, and he put that in his own words.
For me to go a whole half and only score 2 points is a joke. I mean, for me to have 16 points in one half and 2 in the second half, that's inexcusable.
And it's the dream, Hakeem Olajuwon for the Houston Rockets. Some say the most valuable player in the league, ready for Game 4. Okay, talk to me, because I couldn't hear you very well there, David. Okay, but I just okay. No, I did hear that, but I just, well, you're really faint. I hear you. I think my ears are still ringing from yesterday. Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Okay. And then I throw to Hannah.
So who's my camera guy?
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, assistant coaches Lionel Hollins and Scotty Robertson, the trainer Joe Roski and assistant trainer Aaron Nelson. He's the starting lineup for your Phoenix Suns. California number 7, KJ Kevin Johnson. And guard from Central Michigan number 9, Dan Marley. At center, Mobile Dominion number 41, Mark White. At forward from Bell State, Fullerton number 23, Cedric Sabalos.
Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. The starting lineup for the visiting Rockets of Houston. Vernon Maxwell had that big game, 34 points, Game 3. Kenny Smith will compliment him with his outside shooting. On the front line for the Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon. What a great player, and he's had a great playoffs to complement what he did during the regular season. Robert Horry and Otis Thorpe, two giants on the front line for Rudy Tomjanovich. Tomjanovich's team started this year 15-0 to tie the best ever NBA beginning. For Phoenix, Kevin Johnson, he scored 38 in Game 3, wasn't enough. Dan Marley, always a threat with that three-pointer. On the front line, Mark West will start. Cedric Sabalos, the drifter, underneath, always looking for those easy twos, and Charles Barkley willing to take the credit and the blame, as we saw after Game 3. Paul Westphal, whose team had a Phoenix record last year when they won 62 games, and they came away with 56 this year.
The focus of the Phoenix Suns is to be aggressive throughout. This is going to be an offensive game, as it has been an offensive series, but One team is going to have to be able to shut the other down. The Phoenix Suns will try to set the tone early. The Houston Rockets, on the other hand, they believe they're the better defensive team, and they will try to counter, funneling everything into Olajuwon and try to get some opportunity points at the outset of this game.
Both coaches said they think the game will be won by the best backcourt. Do you agree with that?
I do agree, and I think that it has proven to be the case because the backcourt of the Houston Rockets broke down in games 1 and 2 and came to life in game 3.
Olajuwon and West, and Phoenix controls the opening tap, and Kevin Johnson brings it in. So tough off the dribble. And he takes the first shot. Rebound to West. Marley with Maxwell. Marley for 2. Oh, I saw the store, boy. Someone had almost catapulted him into the air. At the other end, it's Smith to Olajuwon. Ori on his drive, and that'll be an offensive foul on Ori. Got himself midair, and the Suns defender turned his back for the rebound, and Ori climbed it.
Ori committed himself a little bit too early, and Mark West was there. Looked like the call really should have gone for Robert Ori because West moved in.
Barkley, and Thorpe has done a good job on him, even though Barkley's had his share of points in the first effort by Sir Charles. Goes over the top.
The one thing that Houston showed in that first possession was some ball movement. They did not stand. Even though the ball ended up in Olajuwon's hand, he attacked off the dribble and broke down the defense, and that's going to be what the Houston Rockets will try to do the entire afternoon.
Into Olajuwon. Double team. Tries to work his way free, and it comes out to Mad Max. He can't hit his first shot. Ori keeps it alive, but then loses it out of bounds. Ori, who merely was a member of another ball club.
No, he was almost exiled to basketball prison. He went to Detroit, and as much rebuilding as they have to do, Ori was happy that trade didn't go through.
That was for Sean Elliott. Kevin Johnson. Neither team able to score, and that'll be a push-off on Mark West.
Olajuwon more vocal with the officials in this particular game than he has been in any other. Right at the outset, he is telling them, watch Mark West over the back. He finally gets a call. So I think that we're going to see both the superstars, both 34s, really trying to take control of their team.
No score, a minute and a half gone. Give and go, and finally it's Olajuwon. Has the first points of the game. 10-20 remaining in the opening quarter. And Johnson with that drive. He made basket after basket in the second half in game 3. Maxwell did too. Rattles out and Barkley rebounds. Johnson to Sabalas. Boy, how he can get his body turned to make shots in tight quarters.
He slithers and slides along the baseline as well as anybody playing the game right now. And what the Rockets have to make sure they do is get transition defense. The Phoenix Suns want to run.
Maxwell back to Olajuwon, blocked by West. And a foul from behind. I believe Ori got Kevin Johnson. No, it's Olajuwon with a foul.
The mistake that Kenny Smith made on that play was to run to Charles Barkley, and that opened up the penetration. Kevin Johnson creating things, finds the ever so clever Sabalas on the baseline.
Ever so clever. Suns 4-2. KJ, offensive foul, no basket. Johnson.
This is not the official that you want to run down and get in his face. He accidentally gave Kenny Smith an elbow. Smith reacted, and the call went against Kevin Johnson. He sets up right here. Kenny Smith will put his hands on him right there. He gets pork chopped right underneath the eye. Kevin thought he had 2 and 1.
Instead, he gets 0 and a foul. Stan Javy is the official, along with Steve Javy, sorry. Dick Pavetta.
You could get tossed out.
Yeah, that's right.
This
He's
guy
done
knows.
Otis Thorpe. What a role player he's been, and perhaps one of the underrated players in the entire league. He's been hitting 16, 18, 16 throughout the playoffs, plus he's asked to guard Barkley.
He has been real critical to their success, particularly against Barkley, because he can guard him one-on-one.
Barkley can't get it down, and Olajuwon picks it up for Houston. Here come the Rockets on the run with Vernon Maxwell. Blocked by West, his second. Save to Olajuwon. Barkley. Now it's 6'4.5". He can now jump in a half-foot tall. Uses that body so well. KJ and Sabonis loses it to Olajuwon, the most valuable player in the NBA this year again.
Look down at the other end, and in that last exchange, Maxwell got hammered by Barkley, came back, gave him a little pat in the back, and Barkley looked at the official and said, "What was that? If you're calling fouls, let me have that one."
Olajuwon with a jump hook, and Houston leads at 6-4.
Kenny Smith has got to try to go forward on Kevin Johnson. If he retreats, that allows the Suns to get started.
Thorpe takes it all the way and sets up Horry. Robert Horry, and the visitors lead 8-4. It's interesting that in the regular season, both teams won both games at home, and Indiana late in the fourth quarter, leading substantially over the Atlanta Hawks, trying to go up 3-1. Kevin Johnson scores. He has 4.
Kevin Johnson is the guy that kept him in the game in Game 3 with that kind of penetration. Kenny Smith is going to have to do a better job.
Horry, a good three-point shooter for a big man, and he has the tray. 11-6 Rockets, 5 for Horry. Barkley over Thorpe. That's his first points. It's a very hot day outside, an early start here in Phoenix, a noon tip-off. This crowd not quite as vocal as we have heard at America West during the course of the playoffs and regular season.
I think that they're nervous about this game, Dick, and that they saw their team with the early lead and they ended up losing it, and the Houston Rockets won going away.
Mark West, who has that problem, picks up 2 quick fouls. Start of the game.
He's trying to get the calls for them. He was working on him during that timeout. He told him to get out of his face, but he stayed in it.
That's Paul Mahalik.
You see.
Yeah, at the start of the game. Says, I'll take it.
At the end.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
At the end. Yeah.
No spit. Yeah. Okay. Larry Smith looking pretty sharp over there, isn't he?
Mr. Mean?
Yeah. I thought he took a college job.
No. He played San Antonio and then got the job in Houston. So he's been with Rudy his second year.
Yeah, but didn't he interviewed for Alcorn or one of those?
He might have interviewed, but he's from Alcorn.
Is he? I always liked him. I thought he'd be a good coach. I think he'd have his respect.
No, but he's
quiet.
Yeah, he's awfully quiet. Awfully quiet.
back to America West, and while we were away, Charles Barkley picked up a technical foul as he chewed the fat with Paul Mihalik. Let's listen. Well, he was arguing for Mark West that if you're going to call it, and he says, yeah, okay, I'll take the technical, call it at that end as well.
The problem for Barkley is that now for the next 40 minutes, he has to really hold his tongue, and this is an important game. Now, he's still looking at Paul Mihalik and daring him to call two.
12-8 is Kenny Smith. It's the technical. This isn't, he's pushing his luck, and of course it is part of the style, and the official doesn't want to throw out a star. Smith for three. Well off, and West with quick hands. So Mark West with 2 fouls stays in the game. Johnson.
Now there's where Kenny Smith can help his team by challenging Kevin Johnson, trying to make him make a tough shot.
And the foul will be on Smith, and that'll send Kevin Johnson to the line. Smith with his first foul. Fans thought there was a sizable bump out at the perimeter line. That was not called. So
as long as, you know, there's contact and it doesn't take away the advantage of the offensive player, it's probably not going to be called. And in that case, it wasn't. Kevin Johnson was still able to continue on and get in the lane. He is the guy right now that is keeping the Phoenix Suns in the ball game. He did that huge second half, trying to make sure he keeps his team in contact as Houston is playing with some confidence in Game 4.
Oliver Miller in for Mark West, and Kevin Johnson gets his own missed shot. Inside to Sabalas underneath. He is indeed slippery. 12-11, the Houston lead. Maxwell loses the handle, but gets it back out to Smith over Marley. Reynolds out. Barkley clears to KJ. 2 on 3. No numbers there, so Johnson pulls it back out to Barkley. Spots up for 3. And then gives it to Sabalas. Working the baseline. Cedric Sabalas. Phoenix reclaims the lead. Oh. And now Sabalas. A technical foul called by Steve Janvey. For taunting, apparently. Kenny Smith will shoot the technical. A point to tie at 13.
If the crowd hasn't arrived, they just arrive after this terrific pass from Charles Barkley to Cedric Sabalas, thundering down, and then something to say, and gets in the face of Robert Horry, and the officials are not going to allow that to happen. Now, this hasn't happened a lot in the West, but it has happened a lot in the East, and it's a carryover, and they're trying to control any kind of conversation out on the floor. Kenny Smith picks up the foul.
So Smith picks up the offensive foul from Phoenix. Let's go to New York.
Delay of game warning is charged against the Buckets since the first.
Thank you, Bob. The missed shot by the Suns, and Thorpe pulls it in for the Rockets. A long pass is too long for Vernon Maxwell. Gives us a chance to comment on the Indiana Pacers. Snapper, you've talked all season long that that's really a team under Larry Brown ready to emerge as a force, and you feel no matter against whom, Chicago or New York, they'd match up well.
They will play and play very well with either one of those teams. They have the best record since the break, and they're doing something they never did before, which is play as a team. They've always played as individuals, and they've had some great individual offensive players, but now they have the total package.
Barkley to Marley off the window. Barkley offensive rebound and pulls his way in. He has 4, and it's a 15-12 Phoenix lead at the 4:39 mark. Vernon Maxwell, it won't drop, and Olajuwon with a rebound and a putback. Hakeem with 6 to lead the Rockets. This game has has a certain desperate sense about it. Houston knows with a win, they go home. Best 2 or 3 home court advantage. Marley rattles in a tray. The man who scored more threes than anyone in NBA history gets his first today. Elijah Wan and Oliver Miller up his back.
One of the things that Kenny Smith must try to do is take advantage of a mismatch. Marley was guarding him. He set up. He could have gone right by Dan Marley, gone to the rim, and if he missed, Elijah Wan would have been there.
Third team foul on the Suns. Rockets with only 2 here in the first quarter. 4 minutes remaining. Smith flirts with the 3 and now takes Marley. Sets up Horry's 15-footer. 18-16 Phoenix. Barkley spots up the tray. And Horry with a rebound as Olajuwon goes down holding his head. He may have taken an elbow. So the Rockets playing 4 against 5, and Horry calls time, 22nd timeout, and that's a concerned bench that walks over to their fallen star. Let's see what happens as he battled for the rebound with Cedric Ceballos of Phoenix.
Going up, and the hand comes down right in the face of Olajuwon, and he immediately goes to the floor. This is one of those inadvertent plays where he was trying to get up, and Ceballos was coming down and caught him right across the face. And the Houston fans, they can't stand to see this 3 times because Olajuwon has been the heart, the soul, the stabilizing force of that franchise. He seems to be at least conscious, but he's very, very groggy and very slow to get up. It's like he's been knocked out.
He's had some fractures of his facial bones and been rendered unconscious before, and he's like a fighter being led back to the corner after taking a vicious hit at the bell. And the other part of all of that sequence, we show it back in slow motion, and it purifies it somewhat. I mean, the violent blow is missed somewhat by the fact that by slowing it down. Not that I'm into the violence, but now you see, boom, he really gets a blow there. You recall that Bill Cartwright a couple of years ago broke the high orbit, the bones of Hakeem with an elbow. Kenny Smith right on target with a 3, and that gives Houston the lead 19-18.
Usually when a great player goes down, the other players try to step up. We'll find out whether the Rockets do. When Olajuwon is out of the game, either foul trouble, they try to go to their pick and roll game with Otis Thorpe. We'll find out whether they set up for Otis Thorpe.
Carl Herrera has replaced Olajuwon, and he's open. Barkley lets him shoot, and Herrera hits. 21-18 Rockets.
That's the pick and roll. That time they run it for Herrera, and he came in being offensive minded. Trying to go to Barkley against Herrera. Thorpe steal.
Thorpe on the bounce pass intended for Barkley. Now the Rockets here in the first quarter picked up from where they left it in game 3. They're playing a terrific game at the offensive end. Barkley with a rebound. Well, was he quick there? He was going to pass out to Marley. Was in midair. Saw Marley covered and got the ball down and avoided the turnover. Ceballos. He has 8 points to lead Phoenix. 21-20. Houston as we approach the 2-minute mark here in the first quarter. And a timeout taken. 2:10 left. The Hakeem still on the bench.
Okay. All right. Dick was right. He did have that shattered eye socket in his left eye a couple years ago, but it didn't hit that area. So I'll just clarify what Dick said, because he was right on with that. Hit with an elbow in the nose, and he's going to be fine.
I wasn't. No, it wasn't any. Trying to over. Because watching it looks like, gee, it didn't look like he got hit that hard.
Whose elbow was it? Who did he
There's
collide
no
with?
blood or anything, though.
Ceballos, okay.
Ever clever, man. Oh, Big Wally. That's why last night, you left and the door never opened and shut. Now, how did you get out of that room? How did you do it last night?
Yeah, anytime he gets hit in the face, it's they panic. That could end his career.
Well, they really got the signs here, don't they?
But you like something. You like that atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a long fourth quarter, huh? Keep track of the guard scoring, total guard scoring.
Yeah, Maxwell hasn't gotten on the map yet. Serena's coming back.
Oh, there's Sugar.
Welcome back to America West Arena. I'm Hannah Storm. There was just a collective sigh of relief on the Rockets bench as the injury to Hakeem Olajuwon is not serious. It seems that he merely took a Cedric Sabalas elbow in the nose, knocked him a little dizzy, but he should be able to re-enter the game. Nick?
All right, Hannah, indeed, there he is. Olajuwon returns. Here, Sabalas with that right forearm right across the bridge of the nose. Olajuwon really felt the pain and was woozy, but he's back in, and of course a key to the success of this Houston season.
Well, he seems still a bit foggy and dazed, and we'll find out whether he has a fighter's resiliency and can play in that daze until he finally gets his head cleared and become a force out on the floor. Thorpe on the pick and roll.
And it's Olajuwon. The presence felt immediately. 23-20 Houston. Sam Cassell has come in, the rookie guard for Houston, and Marley is out for Phoenix, replaced by A.C. Green, who's playing with a bandaged right thumb, a very sore thumb that has affected his shooting in the series, especially the free throws. Kevin Johnson can't get it to roll, and Olajuwon, Cassell with Barkley, and Barkley able to distract enough to deny the basket.
Maxwell took a shot from A.C. Green, and he's looking for that hitman that ran by and clipped him in the head. But Charles Barkley wanted to make Sam Cassell go a little bit further under the hoop than he could lay it in. And you see him then get away. He's got no place, no angle to get the shot. So he wanted that little bit of edge in terms of being out of control. He got it against Sam Cassell.
Lotus Thorpe at 6'10". Tough defender on Barkley. Inside, great pass, blocked by Olajuwon, recovered by Cassell. Oh no, it's Maxwell who brings it in. Here's the other fellow without any hair, Cassell. over Oliver Miller, and Sam Cassell from Florida State. His contribution to the Rockets as the season developed, growing and growing, and he's been tough in the playoffs. Indiana makes it a 3-1 lead over Atlanta, 102-86, and as that one will shift for Game 5 down to the Omni in Georgia.
Huge win for the Indiana Pacers, a team that never made it past the first round, and they have a big edge and a chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know that Indiana is going crazy.
With a travel call, and Houston a 5-point lead has it with 46.6 seconds left in the opening quarter.
The one thing that the Phoenix Suns want to try to preserve, which they didn't in the championship round, is a home court advantage. They lost the championship here at home. They all remember that, and Houston is a team that's capable of winning this afternoon.
Cassell starts it all, and Maxwell inside the line. He's still looking for his first basket. Long pass to Barkley. Incomplete. 20.5 seconds, so the Rockets can milk the clock and take the final shot. Maxwell 0 for 5, and Barkley not hot either.
They did everything right except make the shot, and Miller had the right idea, but too much of a lead for Barkley. And he crashes into that second row.
Marley returning in the final seconds of this opening quarter.
Pick and roll with Thor.
Cassell takes the shot. Rebound Savalas. Here come the Suns. Last shot of the quarter. At the end of the first quarter here at the America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, the Houston Rockets leading the Phoenix Suns 25-20. We welcome those of you who have watched the first game of our triple header as the Indiana Pacers have moved up 3 games to 1 over the Atlanta Hawks 102-86. The Rockets' biggest lead is celebrated at the end of the quarter. 5 points. Hakeem Olajuwon, injured earlier, has returned to make his contribution. We have the second quarter coming up. All right. How about that? Phoenix's biggest lead was 4, 18-14.
Suns fans still have time to enter in a Suns Cruise and Disney package donated by Premier Cruise Line. Drop off your entry forms at the 2 tables located on the lower level of the arena, the food court, and at the south end.
Yeah. Okay.
we got to have new stuff now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they're helping off Cedric Ceballos. They're really concerned about him because he's hurting them in the paint. And they're also trying to keep KJ out of the paint, pick him up a little bit earlier around the 3-point line, and not let him penetrate as deep.
Welcome back to the America West Arena. Both teams looked at tapes the last 2 days. Rudy Tomjanovich took the Rockets back to a game in the regular season where they beat Phoenix and showed them how well they played when they beat Phoenix as an inspiration after losing the first 2 at home of the playoffs. And Paul Westphal showed the tape of Game 3 where he wanted to point out all the mistakes made by his Suns in the second half.
The stagnant part of the game is what Rudy Tomjanovich is trying to eliminate, and they were stagnant in that possession. They just dropped it into Olajuwon, and that allowed the defense of the Suns to take hold.
Danny Ainge makes his first appearance. If this game were in Houston, you would have known it from a crowd reaction. Joe Klein also in for the first time. Kevin Johnson from outside hits the 3. Johnson, who had 38 on Friday night, has 8 today.
Kevin Johnson not noted as a 3-point shooter, and I'm sure that Rudy Tomjanovich will live with him trying that shot. That keeps him out of the lane, and the penetration keeps other people from being involved.
Olajuwon's missed, rebounded by Marley. Got a lot of 3-point shooters out there for Phoenix. It's a small lineup for Paul Westphal. AC Green fouled by Carl Herrera, a little too much into the face of the former Oregon State star.
Kevin Johnson is noted for his penetration. Notice how much distance Sam Cassell has given him. So he just says, if you're going to give me that, I'll get a little dribble and rhythm. The results will be a 3-point field goal. So Kevin Johnson, again, playing like he did in Game 3, and he's going to make sure his team stays close.
Green's first chance to score, and he's That right thumb heavily managed. Remember game 2, he missed an inordinate number of free throws. It was bothering him then, and even more so after game 3, so heavily taped today. Chris Gent makes an appearance, the rookie from Ohio State, picked up by the Rockets mid-April out of the CBA. Tied at 25.
Rockets don't have bowling in Mario Ellie, and they try to trap on him whenever they can. Good pick and roll. Herrera can't hang on to it.
Olajuwon, the only starter on the floor for the Rockets, and Kevin Johnson.
He's annoyed. He had a play, and he was ready to take off, and Paul Westphal was yelling at him, and he really didn't like it. He said, I got the play, and I don't think that was it.
Harley's 3, rebounded by Klein. KJ. Ooh, that's a tough pass inside, and Klein rolls it in. Joe Klein gives Phoenix the lead. That was a good catch by Klein. He was handcuffed. Olajuwon. Mario Ellie, who played for George Karl at Albany in the CBA, and credits him with getting back into the NBA. Hits the 3, and it's 28-27 Houston.
And the Rockets had to go just about 2 minutes before they got their first score. But Cassell has to get up on Kevin Johnson and try to force him one way or the other.
Klein from 16 feet over Olajuwon. Has 4 quick points off the bench.
That's Klein's shot. He likes to face the basket, shoots a jump shot from the top of the key end.
Elliott was hit in the face by Danny Ainge at the final seconds of game 3 with a high hard one. Herrera with a running hook, and Olajuwon flies in to score. Hakeem Olajuwon now with 10 to lead all scorers. Starting well out on the court as this play develops, and Cassell with his hands full as Johnson gets a pick from Klein. It's a 2. Now they trade leads, and now it's Phoenix ahead by 1, and Johnson leads them with 10.
Mario Ellie is one of those guys that's either going to drive all the way or he's going to park on the line for a three-point shot. They're coming inside to Olajuwon. Big adjustment on the shot.
Olajuwon with that head fake and great feet for a big man. Houston back in front.
Any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Was that fast? I thought that was fast.
Mel Gibson. Whoop. There we go. Jodie Foster. James Garner. Maverick. A Richard Donner film. Rated PG. Starts Friday, May 20th.
Okay, Light Ice presents the new rules on work. From now on, the word work will be changed to the word play. As in, honey, I gotta go to play today. I'll be home after lunch. Starting today, comfort is key. Ties are out. The only wingtips I want to see better be headed for a dartboard. Anyone using catchy office lingo like FYI and ASAP will be tossed OUT-PDQ. Hey, let's celebrate with new rules on beer. The folks who brought Taste of Light have now brought Light to Ice. New Light Ice from Miller. A taste with more of what you want and less of what you don't. Oh, by the way, when interviewing candidates of equal stature, the job always goes to the person who completes the perfect windmill jam. Sorry, that's the rule.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right.
Back at the America West Arena, Charles Barkley rested the final minute of the first quarter and still on the bench. 2 for 6 start. He scored only 2 points the entire second half of game 3. He said the key today, aggression.
I think today should be aggression at all cost. Because I think the Rockets played like that the other night, where they had to win or the series was over. And I think it's very important. I'm not saying the series is over if we lose this game today, but it starts over 0-0 instead of us having any advantages whatsoever. We need to win today. We need to win today.
And he says, I'll take them on my shoulders. He also had some comments about Scottie Pippen, his teammate on the Olympic team, and we'll have that for you a bit later. There's Barkley's game 1 Game 2, Game 3, and today it's no score in the fourth quarter of Game 3, and it really ain't gnawed at him for the last 2 days. Olajuwon, but Gent gets the rebound and a second chance. Did he step out of bounds? No, a foul is called along the baseline on Joe Klein, his second. Talk about a dream coming true. How about this Chris Gent? Not drafted out of Ohio State, where he was a teammate of Jimmy Jackson, the top pick of Dallas. 2 years in the CBA, this season with Columbus. And now here he is playing for a chance to go to the Western Finals.
And it was not playing at all until a Portland series, and in Game 4 up there, got a chance to play, and Rudy is not afraid to come to him. He has the ability to score. Olajuwon now beginning to heat up. He's got 6 1/4, and Joe Klein is yelling, help. Get me some help, guys.
Well, that's a 4-point trip for Olajuwon. He got the 2, and then on this free throw, the rebound, and Olajuwon dashed in another. Klein takes it to the hole. Joe Klein with 6. 34-33, Houston.
Huge bonus for Paul Westphal with Klein getting 6, and particularly on that last effort driving to the hoop. Joe putting the ball on the floor, something he rarely does.
Vassell, the rookie, pulls up and hits the short jumper over Kevin Johnson. Reminder again, at stake for Houston. If they can win this way after losing 2 at home, they go back to Houston with a home court advantage throughout the playoffs. Marley gets away with a little push. Green against Herrera. It goes over the top to the Rockets. 36-33.
Notice how coaches are never satisfied. You're getting the ball back. Rudy says, how about the push? How about the push? You don't want to shoot some free throws.
Well, the face of Rudy early in Game 3 when they were down by 14 points. He looked like a man who was afraid to go home because his own dog had bite him. Boy, his team played so well to win. It was a courageous victory for the Rockets. Cassell.
One of the reasons is Sam Cassell, a very courageous player. He has shown a lot of heart and courage, challenged Kevin Johnson off the dribble, and they got some inside points coming from Sam.
And that matches the biggest lead of the game for the Rockets, 5 at 38-33.
What makes this play possible, Kevin Johnson thinks that he's going to go to the corner and drop it back inside. He goes all the way for 2.
In 2 weeks, the world's greatest tennis players hold court at the sport's most grueling Grand Slam, the French Open, presented by Fresca. Coverage begins May 28th on NBC.
Welcome back to the middle game of our NBC triple header, and coming up next, the New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing down the stretch in Game 3 looked as if he was going to win it and make it 3-0. Scottie Pippen not there at the final bell. It'll be interesting to see how the Chicago Stadium audience greets their star player for Game 4 as the Bulls try to even it at 2-all. That's to follow the action from Phoenix.
Barkley's back in the game, and Westphal has gone small. AC Green will guard Olajuwon.
Green with a good fake, takes it in. 38-35 Houston, 4 points for Green. Paul Westphal calls his most valuable player this year.
They have to make AC Green prove that he can beat them from the three-point line. That time they ran at him, made a mistake. Green made a mistake. He looked the other way, and Olajuwon spun in and picked up the foul. AC Green parked on the line. Now they got to make him make that shot. That breaks down the defense, and he's able to get by everybody and score 2.
Went to the other end and slapped the ball away from Olajuwon, but picked up his first foul. Gent and Vassell, 2 rookies in the backcourt now for the Houston Rockets. With Ellie, a 3-guard or a small forward. Danny Ainge.
Ainge gave up his advantage. He wanted to get the ball to AC Green, who had Chris Gent on his hip. Now they're working against the clock. Thorpe against Ainge.
Ainge with 5 on the clock. It won't fall, and Ellie back the other way for the Houston Rockets, who lead by 3, midpoint of the second quarter. Gent, a good outside shooter at 6'7". Barkley with a rebound. He has 6. KJ. Both teams in a cold stretch. Ellie waits for help.
Olajuwon, and they waited for the right man. He has been the hammer for them. Cassell said, "Where are you, big fella?" He said, "I'm coming." And spun away from AC Green. He's got 8 in the quarter.
And he's 8 for 11 from the floor.
Barkley trying to get it going, make the double team come to him. They're going to get a foul against Otis Thorpe, hand checking.
First foul on Thorpe, who fouled out of game 2. Was critical in that comeback for Phoenix.
Rudy Tomjanovich, he shows a lot of reaction. He's saying, "Chris, please." One time. Oh.
Rudy Tomjanovich and his counterpart Paul Westphal, both their numbers retired as players for these teams. Another bump, and Thorpe has picked up 2 fouls in a matter of 3 seconds.
Thorpe did the right thing the first time by, holding his ground, but he didn't let Barkley move, so he was guilty of body checking Barkley. You got to make Barkley beat you from the outside.
Johnson flying by Cassell. What an effort by KJ. 40-37. It's Houston in front. The 3 by Vernon Maxwell, and he finally has his first points of this game. And the biggest lead of the game for either team, 6.
Barkley's going to try to make something happen. If it's the 3rd foul against Thorpe, we'll draw the double team, and in this case, he gets an illegal defense.
Brought the rookie Cassell out of position. Cassell, who of Florida State played with Bob Sura, and Charlie Ward, the Heisman Award winner, was his backup for the Seminoles. Barkley, strong move, and he gets the foul. Cassell reaching in. First on him.
Now that's vintage Charles Barkley. He didn't wait for the double team. He didn't do anything. He caught it, took that quick first step, was into the middle. Sam Cassell thought he got a block on that one. Looked like he made a good play on the ball, but the whistle goes for Barkley.
And Phoenix now will be shooting the penalty. The Suns have 3 team fouls, have 1 to give. 4:17 left. That's his 5th point of the game. Barkley, who flirted with the all-time playoff record against Golden State in the high 50s. 56.
Hyde, Chamberlain, and a bunch. We've called 3 or 4 of the guys a bunch. Of other people at 56.
He's just too tired to go after Michael. 4-point game. Cassell against Marley. Olajuwon has it batted away by Green to KJ to Barkley. Green with the left hand, and Barkley avoided the charge. He knew that his path was cut off, pulled up, took an awkward shot. Green on the other side to nail it.
Now there's the value of AC Green, working without the basketball. They come back to Olajuwon.
And Marley gets a piece of that, deflects it out of bounds.
In transition, the Phoenix Suns are amongst the best in the NBA at converting. Barkley moving away from Thorpe, and Green right there to tip it in. 8 on the shot clock for the Houston Rockets.
Otis Thorpe from outside, and he drains it. Thorpe, a quiet first half, has his 4th point.
Well, if you're in Houston, if you see that shot go in, you say, we're going to win the game. Otis Thorpe very rarely makes a shot that far out on the floor.
Barkley challenges Olajuwon, no foul.
Olajuwon came across at the last second to make him make that adjustment, but Barkley is not settling for jump shots in this second quarter. He's trying to get inside.
Thorpe underneath the basket, just didn't have enough room to get it off. And it's Marley for Phoenix. Suns trail by 4. Green beats him down court, scores, and he's fouled. No foul. Apparently no foul. And that gets the Phoenix crowd on its feet as the Suns pull within 2.
What makes this play possible, Olajuwon is slow getting down. You can see him way back in the picture, and AC Green said, if you are going to hold us up at the other end of the floor, I'm going to beat you back the other way. No shot blocking involved there.
Coming up next, the NBA playoffs continue on NBC. Despite a thrilling fourth-quarter comeback by Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, Tony Kukoc's buzzer beater sealed a victory for the Bulls in Game 3. A Chicago win today would even the series. The Knicks and the Bulls in prime time. Coming up next.
Let it roll next on NBC.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, I'll bring you the conversation I had earlier today with Knicks point guard Derek Harper. He's been suspended for today's game with the Bulls, as well as Game 5 on Wednesday back in New York. And take a look at this scene. Very unusual. The Bulls practiced today about 3 hours before game time. There's Scottie Pippen sitting on the basket support. Phil Jackson, assistant coach Johnny Bach. Actually not a hard practice, a walkthrough, but on the day of the game. So we'll talk about the Bulls and Knicks at halftime, and we'll review the Pacers' 16-point win over the Hawks, which gives Indiana a 3-1 lead in that series. Right now, back to America West, where the Rockets lead the Suns by 2. Dick Enberg and Steve Jones.
All right, Bob, and this really a lot at stake. Phoenix feels a win today, and I only have to win one more, and they've got the home court advantage in Houston with a great season, earning home court, and then with Seattle's upset, having home court throughout, knows that a victory today would get them back on course.
A key with this unit out on the floor, Horry, Smith, and Maxwell has been their movement and direction to the basket. Right now, defense by Danny Ainge gets a foul against Robert Horry.
Horry trying to spin away from Ainge's defense, got the elbows high and picks up his second.
As he picks up his dribble, he's trying to get some room to clear the pass, and Danny Ainge is in the way, and we got a technical foul.
A technical foul is going to assess to Houston Rockets head coach
Rudy Tomjanovich didn't like the call. Rudy, who's now 45, and his number 45, retired by Houston. And his thought was that Ainge is all on top of him. You're going to get some of those, and Ainge is good at acting out the blow.
Tomjanovich, a violent reaction over there from the sideline, and immediately caught the ears of the official, which got the technical. Danny Ainge makes that.
Whoa! Barkley's cross-court pass to Ainge, too tall. Barkley with 6 points today. That means he has only 8 points in nearly 4 quarters. You go back to the second half, 2-point total on Game 3. Inside Olajuwon.
Now, if Olajuwon goes right away against AC Green, he's going to get the shot away. He can't gamble in the back as he just did, because that turns Phoenix loose in transition.
Horry steal by Horry. Takes it away from Marley. 2 minutes. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Houston in front by 1. Horry for 3. Big guy at 6'10" out of Alabama. Can he shoot the threes?
And Rudy has really encouraged him to shoot the three. And when he does it, he takes him out of the game and reminds him that's part of their game. And the team that makes the threes has been the team that has won. In Game 2, it was Phoenix big, and the Houston Rockets won in Game 3.
Speaking of threes, and with the most in playoff history, Ainge misses on that one. 4-point Houston lead. Minute 20 to go in the half. See, the Rockets hitting 50% from outside, and this man inside hasn't missed many either. And that's the biggest lead again, matched at 6 points for Houston.
10 in the quarter, and what Westphal is hoping is that the activity of AC Green will neutralize the strength and the inside play of Olajuwon.
Marley had to shoot it in a hurry as Maxwell came flying at him, and Green has it stripped away. Danny Smith to Horry on the follow, and Danny Ainge denied the easy basket. Foul on Ainge.
Nobody is really as good as Robert Horry in covering ground from the three position in terms of getting the ball to the dunk. Danny Ainge was aware of that, grabbed him by the arm, so Horry will get a chance to shoot a couple of free throws, but since he's come back into the game, he's been aggressive at the offensive end.
22nd timeout called by Phoenix with a 6-point Rocket lead, and Horry about to go to the line. Robert Horry with a big first half, perfect from the floor, the son of an Army veteran, 22 years of service.
he's been steady in this series. I think Rudy Tomjanovich would like him to be more aggressive as he was in the Portland series. In particular, in Game 4 up there in Portland, he had a big game.
24 points, career high.
And he's capable of that, but he's a reluctant offensive player, very much a team player, and I think that's one of the reasons that it was easy for Rudy to get him back on course after being traded and the trade canceled. He's going to do whatever it takes, and Rudy's been able to make him feel welcome once again, because, when you get traded, you don't feel like they want you.
That's part of the remarkable job that Rudy Tomjanovich has done this year. Not only the great start, 15-0 and 22-1 off the top of the season, but that's the kind of move mid-year when it doesn't work out that can destroy the whole morale of your team, and he was able to push through it with his solid relationship with his team. Bama club that had Latrell Sprewell and James Hollywood Robinson, both of them also #1 draft picks, as was Ori. And that sends the Rockets to their biggest cushion, 7 points. 48 seconds to go.
Well, we know no cushion is a good cushion. 14 wasn't good enough for the Suns. 18 and 20 wasn't good enough for the Rockets. So maybe they need coneheads and everything else to get the job done.
Ori perfect on his 2 tosses, and it's 52-44.
Barkley's going to try to score against Herrera if he can. Turns it over.
Right to Olajuwon, and Olajuwon doing a great job of helping out on defense. That's why he was voted for the second consecutive year the best defensive player in the league. Not bad at this end either. Barkley.
That's the shot he wanted. He's a little short on that, but if he goes that quickly, there's nothing that AC Green or the Suns can do against him in terms of preventing him from getting a shot.
2 blocks almost to the second. Phoenix will try to get off the final shot, down by 8. And it's Kevin Johnson who hits it.
Kevin Johnson has been their offensive star the last 2 games.
Maxwell off the mark. And Maxwell, you got to watch him. He's dangerous. All 94 feet of these boards. And that's the end of the first half. The visitors from Houston lead by 6. Stay tuned. The Prudential Halftime Report coming up after these messages.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Well, Houston leads it at the half, 52-46. Pick your pattern in this series. The road team has won every game. Good news for Houston in this case. But the team that has led at the half has lost every game. Bad pattern for the Rockets, who got 18 points and 7 rebounds in the first half from Olajuwon. Charles Barkley, who played poorly in the second half of Game 3 and was very down on himself as a result, shot just 2 of 8, 6 points. He did get 7 rebounds in the first half of this one, and Houston leads by 6. Now, the #1 team in the East, the Atlanta Hawks, big trouble for them. They lost today at Indiana, 102-86. So the Pacers lead that series 3-1. Game 5 is in Atlanta on Tuesday night. Here's a look at some of the highlights from Market Square Arena. Atlanta's Kevin Willis, limited minutes today, scored only 2 points in the whole game after banging into teammate Danny Manning in the first quarter and hurting his knee. Manning got 14 of his game-high 35 in the first quarter, and Atlanta briefly had the lead. Second quarter, Reggie Miller cranks up a 3 here. He had 25 in the game. Indiana hit 11 three-pointers for the day, and they were up by 7 at the half. Here's a rejection by Antonio Davis off a Hawk shot, and it leads to the dunk at the other end by Kenny Williams off the break. More Pacer D here. Mookie Blaylock looking for the layup, but he's caught by Haywood Workman, who knocks it away. The Pacers block 7 shots. They win the game, 102-86. Lead, as I said, 3-1. Now, after the game, Lenny Wilkins said that Kevin Willis has a hyperextended knee, but Willis said he understands the situation. The Hawks are a defeat away from elimination. There is no way he will miss Tuesday's Game 5 at the Omni in Atlanta. When we come back, we'll bring you a conversation with suspended Knick point guard Derek Harper. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. The Knicks and the Bulls will be Game 3 today on NBC. Tip-off at 5:30 Eastern Time. The Knicks will play today's game and Game 5 Wednesday in New York without starting point guard Derek Harper. He's been suspended 2 games as a result of the altercation Friday night. Earlier, I talked to Harper and asked him what JoJo English did to set him off.
Well, he pushed me in the face pretty hard, and that's the thing that I think got the situation started.
Do you regret what happened?
Oh, most definitely. It was very out of character for me. I don't think there's any excuse for it. At the same time, I think it's easy for people to say that you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But I think in the heat of battle, a lot of times you react, and all of the time it's not the proper reaction. And in this situation, I don't feel like it was a proper reaction. I do regret it, but I have to move on from it. I was punished for it, and I have to suffer those consequences.
Do you feel you were punished fairly? What do you think you deserved? You got a 2-game suspension and a $15,000 fine.
Well, I think the whole situation was blown out of proportion. I think the fact that it got into the fans and the fans were involved, I think that had a lot to do with the fining. The league isn't going to stand for it, and I understand that and I respect that. Again, I have to just move on from it and deal with it.
As you said, it's out of character for you. You have a good reputation, and I remember earlier in this series, I think it was the second game at Madison Square Garden, you fouled B.J. Armstrong unintentionally, but it was a hard foul, and immediately you reached down to try and help him up, make sure that there was no misunderstanding. So now, in this key situation, you lose your head, you do something that's uncharacteristic, and I know it bothers you.
It definitely bothers me. More than anything, I think you feel that you're letting your teammates down. We're in good position to win it all, I think, and the fact that I'm not going to be there from them, it really hurts, but I think everything will be okay. I think our team is going to be able to bounce back through the adversity.
Phil Jackson said the other day that Derek Harper is a different player now that he's come to the Knicks, not the player that we've known for years and years with Dallas. And the clear implication was that somebody, be it Pat Riley or the atmosphere on the Knicks team, somebody has made you unduly aggressive now that you've come to the Knicks. What do you think?
I disagree with that. We're a tough team in a very tough town, and we play a physical game. We play a very aggressive game. For Coach Jackson to feel that way is his opinion, but Coach Riley and none of my teammates are pushing me to do anything. I play hard every night, and the game gets physical sometimes, and that's just the way it goes.
You're a veteran guy who would have a good overview. Are you concerned about the whole tone in the league now? The game is tough and sometimes physical, as it should be, but now it's spilling over into violence more frequently, and a lot of people who love the game don't want to see the excitement and artistry of it marred this way. Do you share that concern?
I definitely share that concern. I don't think there's a place in this league for fighting, first of all. I think a lot of it is stirred up because there's a lot of taunting going on. There's a lot of guys that provoke different situations, and it leads to more than you want it to lead to. I think the referees have to cut the guys from taunting so much, and I think that's going to help the situation a little bit.
Under the terms of the suspension, Harper not only can't play, obviously, he can't even be in Chicago Stadium today to cheer the Knicks on. He's got to watch the game like the rest of you folks on television. And if the Bulls fail to win the game, it could possibly be the last NBA game ever played at Chicago Stadium. If the Knicks win, they'd be up 3-1, and of course Chicago would have to win Game 5 at Madison Square Garden to bring it back to Chicago Stadium for a 6th game. We'll head back to America West for the second half of the Suns and the Rockets. Houston leading it by 6, trying to even that series. We'll send it back to Dick Enberg and Steve Jones after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
And welcome back as we get ready for the second half. The Houston Rockets trying to level the series at 2 games each, have a 6-point lead at the intermission. Paul Westphal, Phoenix coach, is with Hannah Storm.
Coach, a lot of rather grim faces, very serious, filing out of the locker room at this time. Among them, Charles Barkley. I know he was upset about his performance in Game 3. Wanted to come out aggressive today, but he only has 6 points. Was he pressing maybe a bit at the start?
Oh, I don't know. Things didn't go his way. we got another half, and I think he's very serious about this half, and we all are. This is the biggest half of the season right now.
How do you get Charles involved and comfortable in the offense? Did you guys talk about it at the break?
No, Charles will be involved. We'll just run our regular stuff, and looking for a great half from him.
Your smaller lineup seemed to be effective against the Rockets. So will you go more to that in the second half?
Well, we're going to start out with a little bigger lineup. We're going to go with AC Green and our most experienced, toughest lineup, and we're going to try to get after him on defense and figure we'll find a way to score.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Dick?
All right, Hannah. On the other end, Hakeem Olajuwon, the leading scorer in the entire playoffs, averaging almost 33 a game, leads all scorers today with 18. But what you don't see about the big guy from Houston is what he does on the defensive end.
Yes, we'll show everyone why he's the Defensive Player of the Year. Let's circle Olajuwon right here. Charles Barkley's over here. Now, you want to notice how quickly he gets in here to change the Barkley shot. As we clear it, watch Olajuwon react and recover, and that is a missed field goal, and that is why he is such a great player.
All right, let's take a look at the Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics with Olajuwon a 9 for 14 half and 18 points. Both teams under 50%, but that's the kind of shooting one would expect at the playoff level. And front court scoring does disappoint Paul Westphal. The Suns only 14 points, with Barkley having only 6 to go with the 2 he had in the second half of Game 3. Will Barkley awaken? As Westphal said, biggest half of the season coming up. Ready for the second half. Olajuwon leading all scorers with 18. Horry with a big half with 12. Kevin Johnson was the only player who did not come out. Worked all 24 minutes, and as he was the leading scorer Game 3, 14 points to lead the Suns, and he's the 4th top scorer in all of the playoffs, Kevin Johnson. Karl Malone 3rd, and Barkley is 2nd.
Dick, Paul Westphal is going for some defense right now, going with this big front line with Mark West trying to body out Olajuwon down on the baseline.
West picked up 2 quick fouls to start the game. First shot missed by Olajuwon. KJ, but 3 red shirts beat him down court. Takes the shot anyway. And hits. Johnson continues his sizzling scoring for Phoenix.
Kevin Johnson has anything to say about this afternoon, they will go out with a win. He has been the guy that's played with the most confidence and aggressiveness at the offensive end for the Phoenix Suns.
52-48 is Horry. He had 2 threes in the opening half. The Rockets missed their first 2 shots. A 4-point deficit staring at Phoenix. Pick and roll. Johnson again. Tough angle. Oh, what a series of bounces. That ball refused to go out. How often do balls refuse to go in? That one just wanted the net. 52-50 on a pair of goals by Kevin Johnson.
The key for Houston is moving the ball and moving people in the direction of the hoop. They come with their 3rd outside shot. Maxwell has his 2nd basket of the ball game. He's got 5.
The 2 men we expected to be up there near 20 points at this stage, Vernon Maxwell and Charles Barkley, have been relatively quiet. Away from the ball, a foul. There's Thorpe, and that'll be his 3rd.
Kevin Johnson started the second half looking at the basket. A deep jump shot for Kevin Johnson. That tells him that he is still on. Otis Thorpe led with the elbow and trying to get through a screen. He's now one-on-one against Barkley. Barkley says, give me an illegal defense.
And he gets it. Kenny Smith, and that's the 2nd violation by the Rockets, so the technical foul will be shot by KJ.
Otis Thorpe took that time to go over to the official and explain why he gave Mark West a little shot. He said he had both of his elbows up. Thorpe done a really good job in the last 2 ball games against Charles Barkley. Rudy Tomjanovich wants to keep him out on the floor. Now watch, and this will tell you that players know what an illegal defense is.
Barkley, he could work the crowd, he could work the officials, work his own game. He's the John McEnroe of basketball. AC Green for 3. Rebound, Otis Thorpe. Thorpe, who was the 15th best rebounder in the league, 10.6, and that's with Olajuwon on your team. Kenny Smith drills in an 18-footer. 56-51 Rockets. Taken away by Ori. And 6 steals for the Rockets, none for the Suns in the game. Maxwell through the hands of Thorpe, and Ori can't save.
That pass, which was the right idea, was too much on a line, and Thorpe couldn't catch it, so it sailed out of bounds. One of the few turnovers that the Houston guards have made today.
Only the second. They had only one in Game 3. They just played terrific ball in terms of protecting the pumpkin. They've not given it away, and that's been the key to their success in the last game and this one. Barkley fades away and is off the mark, but Mark West tied up by Olajuwon, foul. Could be Maxwell reaching in. Nope, it's Olajuwon.
Robert Ori had the right idea, thumbs up, meaning a jump ball, but the officials don't see it Ori's way. Olajuwon thought that he had his hand right on top of the ball for Mark West. Second personal foul in Game 3. Trouble. Rudy Tomjanovich had to protect him most of the game.
West makes his first point of the game.
West with a good offensive rebound. Now that looks like hand on top of the ball all the way.
Boy, did it ever. West not a good free throw shooter. Shot just 50% on the year, and that's what he gets here, 1 out of 2. 4-point lead. Rockets with the ball. 9 minutes to go in the third. Neither team, to this point, able to win at home. Remember, that plagued Phoenix last year. Olajuwon. It rolls out. Phoenix lost 6 home games in the playoffs last year, including the final game against the Bulls.
That's why they want to win this game so desperately. They might feel it might be a 6-game series, but they can cash here at home. Barkley not able to cash.
That was a tough angle shot. Maxwell hurrying it to the other end. Gets the basket and the foul from Marley. Quick little reach in for Marley. His first foul.
Marley knows what Custer felt like. He's by himself, and Maxwell is leading a charge of red shirts. And you can see Marley's reaction, where did I get him? But the call goes for Maxwell. Doesn't get the 3-point play.
Almost about like Olajuwon's at the other end. Houston's lead, pitching its largest of the game, 6. Barkley is 2 for 10 in the game.
That's the guy to have to bring him to the dance. He finally gets a call. This is a huge foul if he goes against Otis Thorpe, because that's his 4.
4 fouls on Thorpe. His loss in that overtime Game 2 at the end of regulation was critical to that whole comeback.
One of the reasons is at this end of the floor. He's able to play Barkley head up. They haven't really sent a lot of people when Otis Thorpe has been guarding him, so Barkley has been forced to try to make shots on his own. The other offense, he's been able to score inside against Barkley, also rebound the ball.
Carl Herrera at the scorer's table. Barkley makes his first free throw. So mark down the time. 8 minutes, 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Thorpe goes out with his 4th foul. Let's see if the Suns can take advantage. Barkley after his 8th point of the game. And half of those on free throws.
Hey, both guys.
58-54 Rockets. Herrera blocked from behind by Marley, and a jump ball is called.
Good collapsing and reacting defense by the Phoenix Suns keeps Herrera from getting this ball away, and Marley's right on top of that one. See if Herrera can control the tip. They want to make sure they surround Olajuwon here so he doesn't just catch it and go to the basket.
They try to get it to Olajuwon, but A.C. Green had fronted the big guy. And Green hustling down court gets the no foul. Herrera had him by the wrist for the Suns score anyway. 10 for Barkley. A 2-point lead.
Now what hurts the Rockets is when they stand. If they become stagnant and stay out on the perimeter and they don't make that shot, then the Phoenix Suns have a huge advantage. Kenny Smith, who was really struggling in game 2, a huge three-point field goal.
Respect that.
Now see, they have to double Barkley when Herrera's out on the floor.
Now Barkley with a drive. Sets up KJ, sitting alone. This is badly. Maxwell loses the ball, but picked up by Ori and a foul. Mark West. His third.
The difference between a foul and no foul, if Maxwell and Ori connect, they're on a fast break, and Mark West isn't in there trying to make a play on the ball. He picks up another foul. But West is out there to try to deny position for Olajuwon down on the deep box.
Olajuwon and West. Maxwell for a three, and rebound Marley. And the Suns are fortunate that Maxwell doesn't have the hot hand that he showed in the second half of game 3.
What he's got to continue to do is shoot the ball, though. Olajuwon gambled and Ori missed the steal, and that cost him with Ori picking up the foul. Olajuwon, who plays unorthodox defense, he'll gamble when you don't want him to, and they wanted a flagrant foul. They don't get the call.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. By Meta, maker of reliable copiers and plain paper fax machines. The times demand Meta. And by Jeep and Eagle, official vehicles of the NBA.
Welcome back to sizzling Phoenix, Arizona. It's over 100 degrees today, and this is right across from the hotel, Ritz-Carlton here in Scottsdale, where the Rockets are staying there, restaurant Houston's, and they've jury-rigged their own message for the visitors from Texas. Mark West at the line as we play here in the West in the semifinals. 61-57 as West has his second point. Old Dominion. Moses Malone from St. Petersburg, Virginia, same hometown as Mark West. So he's 1 for 2, consistent there. Maxwell knocked away by Barkley, but the foul not on Barkley, but someone else reaching in. Kevin Johnson, the second.
The Rockets know they have to have penetration, either via the pass or the dribble. They give the foul to Kevin Johnson. Barkley thought he made a clean steal. Maxwell trying to create something right now.
Olajuwon over West. Barkley rebound. That's 8 for him.
Olajuwon has yet to score in this third quarter of play.
And the Rockets have maintained their lead. 4 points at the moment. Another steal. Barkley's been intercepted twice. Maxwell got him.
That pass didn't have anything on it. Maxwell was able to just walk back in. That one was thrown out of bounds.
So the Rockets were protected the ball so well. Now suddenly here in the second quarter, a couple of turnovers. Point of the third period. Phoenix with the ball down by 4. Johnson left alone. Well off the mark and out of bounds to the Rockets. Kevin Johnson complaining that someone got a piece of his wrist, but KJ does tend to see a lot of fouls that aren't called.
Every player tends to see a lot of fouls that aren't called.
Take that back. It's everybody. A runner by Maxwell. And there's Olajuwon with a loose ball. Ori. He wanted the three.
Well, Kenny Smith is sitting there begging, wanting a three as well. So let's see who loads up. Kenny Smith has a chance to get by Dan Marley off the dribble if he wants to go to the hole.
Olajuwon over West. A tough jump one from 10. He has 20 to lead all scores. Back to that 6-point lead, the Rockets. Marley has to shoot in a hurry and hits it over Ori. That was a tough three. He has 6 points, both on trays.
If they could use anybody to come to life, it's Dan Marley. Only has 6 points in this ball game, 2 3-point field goals. He has really been struggling in the
two. That's the fourth foul on Mark West, whose job primarily is to try to slow down Olajuwon. They know they're not going to stop him, but in the process, like Otis Thorpe, who has to deal with Barkley at the other end, they both have four.
The difference is Mark West is not going to make as big a contribution as Otis Thorpe, and they planned on Mark West using all 6 of his fouls if he had to, all of Oliver Miller's and all of the Joe Kleins to try to slow down Olajuwon.
Oliver Miller, shorter, but with a tremendous wingspan. Herrera, no basket, the fouls against Houston. Dick Bavetta calling that one, I believe, Olajuwon running interference. His third.
Olajuwon wanted the ball. Herrera took off on his own. Actually, that's a pretty good screen. And the call goes for the guy on the floor, Barkley on the floor.
You got to give the officials a chance to call it if you don't fall down. You don't see it as well. Barkley, again, not missing, but missing way off the mark. He is now 3 for 13 in the game. Rockets by 3. Smith for 3. No, he's on the line. Foot on the line. So it's 65-60. Houston.
Kenny Smith with the big third quarter. He's got 7 to keep Houston with that 5-6 point separation.
Nice handoff, but a beautiful block by Ori. Barkley denied. Give the block to Olajuwon.
It was Olajuwon with the quick move inside. They pick up a foul against Olajuwon. That is 4, trying to get position down at the other end.
Wow, Olajuwon with 2 fouls in a minute's play when Houston had the ball. Oh my. Rudy Tomjanovich trying to figure this one out.
Steve Gabby will make the call, but watch, Oliver Miller is pushing his way, but then in return, he gets a little pork chop right in the middle of the chest. That knocks him down for a 10 count, and he just sits there. We come back to Kevin Johnson.
So with just under 4 minutes left in this third quarter, Olajuwon with 4 fouls, and he's going to go out as Thorpe with 4 will replace him. Meanwhile, Oliver Miller gets the foul, offensive foul at the other end.
So they have been consistent in the calls that they have made, even though the players and the coaches haven't agreed. We've seen similar calls at both ends of the floor. So nothing is lost for the Rockets except Olajuwon goes to the floor. Thorpe will come back in. He has 4 as well.
Cassell back in, and he makes everyone know that he's around. Cassell with 8 points, and more and more the praise earned for this rookie from Florida State. This is the biggest lead then for Houston. It comes with 3 minutes plus left in the third. Cassell hawking Marley.
This is when Marley struggles, and when he has to put the ball on the floor and try to make something happen. He comes all the way in. The Rockets felt that they had good position, should have gotten either a call or the ball. You'll see Dan Marley trying to get into the scene. Now watch him close the door. Marley has no place to go, just lost the ball. 2 seconds up and down.
Cedric Sabalas comes in with the 2 seconds, and there's Herrera batting away, and now only 1 second on the shot clock. So this is a catch and shoot.
Rudy's telling him, hey, get off, and make sure you're in position to get a rebound. Don't let him have something inside. That's where Barkley's trying to work right now.
Barkley, and it's tipped away. 67-60 Houston. And timeout called by the Rockets. So even though Thorpe and Olajuwon foul trouble, Tomjanovich's team up by 7. So much is made of home court advantage. Losses at home are tough to digest. Ask Kevin Johnson.
The last time we lost in the playoffs at home was against Chicago. And that was very frustrating because I didn't want to lose at home. I didn't like that feeling of what it felt like to lose at home in a playoff game. And I think that's why we did such a good job against Golden State and getting out of the blocks early. And to lose here and not have dug ourselves a hole yet, but still let a golden opportunity slip away is something that I know I'm motivated not to let happen.
That golden opportunity coming home after beating Houston on their home court and then to lose Game 3 here.
He said it. He's motivated not to let it happen. Those numbers reflect the guy that's really trying to make sure that his team stays in the ball game. He's kept them in contact. And Cassell and Thorpe, they're trying to move the lead to 9.
2:45 left in the third. Ori trying to follow his own shot and committed the foul.
In the penalty, Houston foul number 25.
That's 4 on Ori. So the starting front line of Ori, Thorpe, and Olajuwon, all with 4.
If Ori can improve its game, it's that area right there. Finding a jump shot on the move. He tried to come over the top, almost an automatic call. Sabalos, who's in the ball game, as Paul Westphal is now thinking offense rather than defense, comes back with the small lineup. We'll go to the line.
8 points in the game for Sabalos. He got most of those in the early minutes. Shot very well from the free throw line in this playoff. 13 for 14 coming into today's game, Sabalos from the line.
Ori out, Olajuwon out. A lot of shot blocking is out of the ball game for the Houston Rockets. The Phoenix Suns have to think about getting the ball inside. They missed the free throw.
67-61 in Houston.
What works for this lineup is the pick and roll. Whenever Olajuwon's out of the game, they go to a pick and roll game, trying to get some movement. Cassell against AC Green, the clock at 9.
Oh, Barkley just levels Thorpe, clears him out of the way, no whistle. 10 rebounds for Barkley, who loses at the other end. Herrera to Smith, to Cassell, to Smith. Nicely done. Ball barely touching the floor on that move. 13 for Kenny Smith. 2 minutes to go in the third. 8-point lead. That matches the biggest of the game for the Rockets, who have led mostly throughout. 18-14 was the biggest Phoenix advantage.
Good isolation for Kevin Johnson, but in this situation, he's trying to get to the hole.
Clears it out to Barkley. Marley wants the 3. Herrera the rebound.
Barkley's probably saying, Dan, if you were going to miss, I would have shut that. I could miss.
Marley's had trouble in the series, shooting less than 38%.
This is a nervous crowd as the Rockets have had control of the game and the tempo, and Kenny Smith has been big in his quarter. 11 for Kenny Smith.
And the 10-point lead is the biggest for Houston in the game. Good job with the small line of defense as Green takes it in. He misses, tipped out, and Smith recovers. And Marley has to foul to stop the easy lay-in.
Barkley is just knocking down anything in a red jersey.
Second foul on Marley.
What is good about this break is they don't allow Kevin Johnson a chance to make them make a decision. They just created that opportunity. They had Otis Thorpe behind him. He had to be aware of Thorpe, and they just kept coming. Kenny Smith has been the catalyst in this third quarter of play.
He now has 16 points as Houston continues to build its lead. Barkley goes out with 1:07 left in the third. He'll be rested and they'll take advantage. Westphal will of the 2-minute break between periods to give his star a breather. Still unable to produce, and you got to give Houston credit. They've defended him well. Smith misses the second. 11-point lead, 1 minute to go.
What Houston doesn't want to do is let the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Johnson strike back very quickly.
Johnson misses the lay-in. Ainge can't get it. Herrera to Smith.
4-on-1.
Cassell and Marley was able to knock it away and a foul on Herrera. Marley denied a 4-on-1 chance for Houston. Herrera picks up his second foul.
Houston has always been guilty of running a break from the side, and they get too many people involved, and the ball is tipped away. Herrera tried to get back, and they called him for the foul against AC Green. Rudy Tomjanovich said that's a jump ball.
AC at the line.
Rudy ought to know by now. They're not listening to him this afternoon.
Points for Green. Houston's lead 10 points. 48-1. The Rockets showing the fans in Phoenix why they were the Midwest champions. Entered the playoffs with the second best record.
Big rebound Chris Gent got hit in the face with the ball, and he is still hurting. And out of this, they clear it, and Otis Thorpe gets control. Marley trying to get in there.
Jonovich, a fighter out of Hamtramck, Michigan. University of Michigan All-American. Tough part of town. Another guy in Dollar Town who fought his way as a player, collegiate, NBA star, and now one of the game's top coaches. He's done, you know, there weren't many believers when Houston left town to come here to Phoenix that the Rockets had a real good chance left. But
it looked like the series had sweep all over it, and Rudy has done a good job of getting this team to believe that they could, and right now they can, but if they can continue to control Kevin Johnson.
Johnson, who had struggled for much of the quarter, now has 21. Leads all scores. About 4-second difference in the clocks.
Houston wants to center the ball. Against this pressure, they want to get the ball in the middle and then try to look inward. It gives Casal a little bit of a screen.
Knocked away from Herrera with 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Johnson wants it. And Finney Smith cuts him off. Foul on Smith is third. He'll send Kevin Johnson to the line.
Kenny Smith, who has really been very good in this quarter, didn't want to make a mistake, and he knew Kevin Johnson was going to be coming hard. And for Kevin Johnson, who goes left or right, if you're going to get him, you got to take him the way you want to go, not let him force you. And Kenny Smith had to react and picked up the foul.
Well, off the dribble, he's in the NBA elite up there with Tim Hardaway. Some of the others, but Johnson just so lightning quick on the dribble. He gets both free throws, 23 in the game. Puts a dent in the Houston lead at the end of the third quarter. Kenny Smith, the former North Carolina star, 12 in the quarter, 16 in the game. And the Rockets threaten to even the series at 2 games all. We'll be back after a word from your local station.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Phoenix getting only 5 field goals in the quarter, trailing by 7 to Houston. NBC Sports triple header. We called on all of our best personnel to give you a triple treat, and here in Phoenix, hey, where will it end? I mean, we got the best operating. Our technical crew. The Gorillas had some problems with his shoulder with all those acrobatics of his, and he's been sidelined a bit. Glad that he joined us. Kevin Johnson and Marley. Marley pumps a 3. Continues to be cold.
Guy that got that rebound was Olajuwon, so he's back in at the top of the quarter with 4 personal fouls. Tomjanovich trying to break this thing open with Thorpe inside against Barkley.
Thorpe around Barkley. 75-66 Houston. Leading since the first half, and Johnson doesn't get it. Olajuwon, 2 quick rebounds. Maxwell wants the 3. Reigns moves out on him. Green on Olajuwon. Cassell takes Marley. Thorpe gives Houston another chance. 4 on the shot clock. AC Green. Green, Ames, Barkley, Kevin Johnson, and Marley, a small lineup for the Suns.
Paul Westphal very concerned and off his feet trying to find some offense right now. As Houston has done a good job of really controlling them and containing Kevin Johnson, they're going to get a foul against Sam Cassell.
They had defense that drive with Johnson. They pinched him in a manner where he had no place to go with it.
Cassell has done a very good job of directing Kevin Johnson, but at the last minute he reached in and picked up the foul. It's on the pass off.
Marley out and Mark West back in for the Suns, so they go a little bigger now. Barkley with a drive against Olajuwon, and Akeem with 4 early in the fourth had to give him some room.
And that's what Barkley needs to do. Instead of holding and waiting for the double team, attack immediately. And that time he won the battle between himself and Olajuwon.
12 points for Barkley. Olajuwon, the center from Ellie, has 22. 10 minutes to go in the fourth. 20-second timeout early from Paul Westphal.
Rudy Tomjanovich realized after game 2 that his team had to have movement, and so he's come back to the pick and roll, and that was Olajuwon with the hammer, and immediately Paul Westphal said, we can't have that. We cannot have that. We got to find a better way to defend Olajuwon on the pick and roll. Otherwise, that's a certain 2 points over the top.
Only the Lakers against the San Francisco Warriors in 1969. That was West Baylor era. Are able to come back from, in a best-of-7 playoff series, from losing the first 2 at home. That's the onus and the challenge of the Houston Rockets.
That is a lot of history that they're fighting right there. But this year, I guess 1 beat 8. So anything is, 8 beat 1. So anything.
Kevin Johnson goes southpaw and has 25. 77-70 with 9:50 to go. Ellie pulls up for the 16-footer. Well, he just gives you solid minutes. Arioli has 5.
Ellie can continue to measure that shot, then that makes it real tough for the Suns to get back. Whoa, Olajuwon challenge. Kevin Johnson almost got that.
There's Olajuwon again. That's not his man, but he raises up so high, and Kevin Johnson had to adjust his shot. 79-70.
Look at West leaning against Olajuwon, and that's what he's in there to do, to try to keep him off the box.
That's a 3 for Cassell, and the rookie gives the Rockets their biggest advantage, 82-70, and a timeout. Phoenix with 9:06 to go, and the Rockets are rumbling again in Phoenix.
NBA Inside Stuff, Saturdays on NBC.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment takes us back 10 years ago to the day Laker great Earvin Magic Johnson distributed a playoff record 24 assists as the Lakers beat Paul Westphal and the Phoenix Suns 118-102. That was Game 2 of the '84 Western Conference Finals. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. We might add that Utah's John Stockton tied Magic's mark, 24 assists against the Lakers in 1988. Now the Suns will have to dig themselves out of the biggest hole of the game, a 12-point Houston lead. Time running out, under 9 to go. But the pattern of this series has been when you're behind, you win the games. It's overcoming big leads that has been the story of this series.
Being able to hold big leads at critical times has been the story, and Otis Thorpe picks up his 5th personal foul, and that's something that Tomjanovich did not want to see happen that early. Big guys like to make little people pay for setting those screens, but you also have to use your head. Thorpe, they need you out on the floor, and now you're on the bench.
That was a little too obvious. Barkley finally hits one of those outside jumpers. He has 14.
And that's the reason that they need him out on the floor, because Herrera is not going to be able to deal with Barkley by himself.
Now the Suns need a stop, and can they stop Olajuwon? Yes, Barkley with a rebound. He has 11 rebounds to go with his 14 points. He wants a 3. Rebound down in Maxwell. It's the no-hair look on the floor for the Rockets. Herrera, Cassell, and Maxwell all choosing that style.
What the Rockets want to try to keep going is movement in direction of the basket. They come back to Herrera, and if you're the Suns, that's the guy you want shooting the ball down on the box.
10-point lead, 8 to go. Kevin Johnson A 2. Johnson leading all scorers with 27. Houston's lead 8.
What got Houston in trouble in Game 2 was they became tentative. Once they had the lead, they became very predictable. And right now, they're having that kind of an attitude. Ellie goes to the rim and gets the whistle.
AC Green said jump ball. The officials say, that's your second foul. He got the right number of fingers up.
Kevin Johnson was thinking 3, but his feet touched the line, much like Karl Malone did yesterday. And he said, I got 3. The official says no. Kevin Johnson right there, clearly on the line.
Ellie hits the free throw and his 6th point of the game. Marley, whose 3-point gun has been relatively quiet in this series. Overall, he's 19 for 52, a 36-point shooter.
And he's only made 2 shots today, both of them 3-point field goals, one in the first quarter, one in the third, so they really need to wake up the hot hand of Dan Marley.
Ellie's 2 free throws send Houston back up by 10. Kevin Johnson blocked by Elijah Wan, who goes over his own teammate Cassell to make his 3rd block. Elijah Wan, who was 2nd in the league to Dikembe Mutombo in blocks on the season.
Elijah Wan coming off the weak side, and for Sam Cassell, this is a thing of beauty. A save by Elijah Wan, 11 on the shot clock.
KJ maneuvers into traffic. Barkley chips it in. Barkley was 16. 7:09 to go. 19 voices, 1,000 voices cheering the defense as Elijah Wan at 7 feet. How nimble he is. 24 for the Green.
That's a tough matchup for Green when they don't close the door, and Elijah Wan has a variety of ways of keeping it open.
Ainge for 3. Veteran Danny Ainge. And the fans feed off the tray in this town, as they do in Houston. These two clubs very much alike. Ellie. No foul. Look at Elijah Wan dive. He's still in the backcourt with KJ. KJ still hasn't come into the offensive end. Barkley with 12, and now the illegal defense, and that'll cost Houston a technical. Rudy wants a call back at the other end on this play.
Well, he came hard with 2 hands, and he missed it, and everyone really missed the body of Mario Ellie, and Rudy is saying, how can that be?
Time out. The Phoenix crowd has awakened.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold. By Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars. And by Toyota, who invites you to check out their full line of quality trucks. You just gotta love them.
The Minnesota Timberwolf mascot here to help out his gorilla buddy on the injured list. 3-point shooting game between these two teams, and the winner might well be the victor in the game, and that's why Houston leads, hitting 50% of the trays, where you get 3 for 2. And Phoenix 4 of 13 as Ainge will shoot the technical to cut the lead to 6.
Both teams feel that whichever has the advantage in 3-point field goal shooting wins the ball game, and that has turned out to be the difference so far in the series. And we have a lead that was from 12 to 6 in a matter of a minute and a half.
Rockets led 82 to 70 with 9:06 to go. Both Ainge and Marley, of course, 3-point shooters with Kevin Johnson, 10 on the clock. Elijah Wan comes out to defend, and he makes it anyway. Kevin Johnson and the foul.
Kevin Johnson Johnson has been the offensive story the entire afternoon. Cassell chased that one. He thought there was no contact. The bench saying we're in this one.
Joe Klein, the #1 cheerleader on the bench for the Suns. Kenny Smith and Otis Thorpe are sent back in by Rudy Tomjanovich. Herrera and Cassell go out. And a chance for the three-point play for the shooting star of the game, Kevin Johnson, looking for his 30th point, and he has 11 assists. And the lead, once 12, is down to 3. Is it a jinx to get a double-digit lead in this series? Barkley on a reach-in commits the foul. Got to double-check. First foul on Barkley.
And Barkley has been creating mayhem out here at this end of the floor. Hands all over people, knocking people down. So it's really amazing that he's been able to go that long and not get fouled.
Olajuwon drawing the double team. Kenny Smith to Thorpe. AC Green denied the basket, but the foul is called on Green. It'll be his third.
I want you to notice at the end of this play what makes AC Green such a tough guy. Now watch, all sure, I'm not even letting go now. And the whistle has already been blown.
Just an average free throw shooter, 66% on the season, but third in league from the floor at 56%. Gets one out of two. 87-83 as the Suns go on the attack with 5.5 minutes left.
The Rockets feel that they're the better defensive team, and Kevin Johnson is the guy that's going to try to disprove that. Kenny Smith has got to keep Kevin Johnson in front of him.
Haynes back out to Marley for three. And he misses again. Olajuwon collars his 11th rebound.
Now the Rockets are going to try to keep going to the basket if they can and try to drop the ball inside to Olajuwon. Thorpe.
Tough pass from Smith, and Thorpe scores it. Very tough in close. Back up to a 6-point advantage Houston.
Thorpe trying to do his version of Sofalis and stay on the baseline.
The foul on Kenny Smith trying to deny the charge of Johnson.
Open, but almost no angle, and Thorpe is able to power his way up and get the shot to go in. Kenny Smith picks up his 4th personal foul, and that is a 4th team foul. Rockets looking to get themselves out of trouble with the officials, but the penalty situation staring them in the face. Thorpe against Barkley.
Suns have a foul to give. Barkley throws it right to Mario Ellie. Barkley's had 3 bad passes in this half. Maxwell from way outside, and only because he has not shot well, Maxwell, the Suns still in the game. He's 3 for 11. AC Green left alone. Rebound Thorpe. Time running out on Phoenix, 4 minutes. And it kicks away with Houston leading by 6.
Well, there's plenty of time for the Phoenix Suns to get back in it, but right now they're trying to force them to stay out of the inside game. Thorpe has been real strong and gets out.
Otis Thorpe chipping in with 12, defending Barkley, doing his share of rebounding, has 12 points and 12 rebounds. Talk about a solid complementary player. Look at that man, Otis Thorpe, and Houston continues by 8.
The crowd is quiet, and the reason why the ball movement of the Houston Rockets are able to get the ball down on the backs to Houston's Otis Thorpe, and the reaction, we're back on top, we're in control.
Thorpe was part of that sensational 1984 college draft. Now, he was the 9th pick. Hakeem Olajuwon was the first pick. Look at Bowie, Michael Jordan, 3rd, Perkins, Barkley, all out of that's a pretty good team right there. You could go to work with those 6 players all out of the 84 college draft. Thorpe has scored the last 5 points for Houston. Phoenix desperately needs some scoring now with 3.5 to go. And Kevin Johnson, 38 on Friday night, 32 today. too, and will compete in Toronto this summer. Whoa, Maxwell had trouble with Green and forced the shot. Barkley picks it off.
That's the kind of mistake that Houston didn't want to have and then come back with a quick score against them. That's what Kevin Johnson's trying to create. Olajuwon knocked it away.
What a block by Olajuwon as Barkley went up with a two-handed stuff, and Marley has to foul to stop Ellie. What a big play. It appeared that Johnson had set up Barkley for an easy slam, but
you see him go once and then come back one more time, and that's why he is so great. Not only does he react to the first drive, comes back to take the second one away. And I'm sorry, Dikembe, you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait.
Oh, that is absolutely superb. He had denied Kevin Johnson. Johnson makes the great pass and able to whirl and get off his feet again and stuff the attempt by Barkley.
I agree with that.
That's why Akeem Olajuwon for the second consecutive year voted the league's best on defense. Plus, he's the top scorer in the playoffs offensively. So you want the complete player, and he answers the bell every night, doesn't he?
Every single night he has been there. He is the true definition of a warrior. Olajuwon again.
That's his fifth block. Barkley told us before the game, he said, they're really no better defensively than we are, except they got that guy that's the best player on the planet.
You see, he's reacting to everything, so he's closed down easy chances. That means the Suns are going to have to get it done over the top. Green's the one out of the middle.
Barkley and Olajuwon denies again. That's his sixth block. He's had 3 blocks in the last minute.
Olajuwon sprinted the other way. He wants to end it right now if he can.
Over Green, no. He sets up Ely. Mario Ellie, and Marley has to foul him again. So Marley's had his hands full having to foul Ellie, who's been set up. That's his fifth.
When you have Olajuwon, you have the difference defensively. He's made Barkley go to the offhand and then sprinted the other way, made the defense react. Ellie to the rim. Look at that ball go around, and you know what this is.
We've won the home court advantage back. And remember, of all the teams left, they have the best record. So if they can win at home, it is an advantage for them. It hasn't been so far for either team in this series.
9 in the quarter for Ellie, and
in your face, Kevin Johnson. Oh my!
This is a huge effort by Kevin Johnson, knowing this is the only way you're going to get there, and Olajuwon picks up his fifth.
Oh, that's a highlight show. You'll be seeing that on your local newscast. Kevin Johnson. Look at the determination, intensity in this man's soul as he leads all scorers with 34. What a punctuation rate.
And if ever a team needed a lift with a play like that, and that's what a dunk can do, the Suns were sagging energy-wise. They need a big shot in the arm right now.
3-point play cuts the lead to 8, but time running out. Just over 2 minutes remain.
Elijah, he has 5.
Smith all alone for the 3. And he is wing spread aiming toward the southwest in Houston.
Kevin Johnson will not let them die. That's a 3-point field goal for Kevin Johnson. He's got 15 in the quarter. 8-point game.
99-91. 1:48 to go. And a foul on Johnson. And Kevin Johnson, who was the man in the entire second half of Game 3 in defeat with 38, has come back with 34. Now 38 today. 38 and 38. That's a holster full. Kevin Johnson, and yet his team, the rest of his team, not responding. And in particular, Barkley has had 2 games in which he just has not lived up to all of the demands on him, and that's to the credit of the Houston defense, Thorpe and Olajuwon.
18 in Game 3, 16 in this ball game, 6 and 4, so 10 in the second half. And Paul Westphal knows time is running out. He's got to come up with some defensive stops.
Top scoring team in the league, Phoenix. Shut it down.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Indiana has beaten Atlanta. Houston trying to hang another loss on Phoenix at home, and it's the Knicks up 2-1 against the Bulls. The third game of our triple header follows immediately, so don't wander away. Boy, there's so much going on in that series.
Get the ball in the hands of Kevin Johnson. Let him make something happen.
Oops, Olajuwon right there to stop that as Green tries the three. Tipped out by Elliott, goes to Barkley. He tries a three. Barkley continues cold. He's 6 for 18 in the game, 33% jump ball. So Barkley is 15 for 40 in the last 2 games. That's around 37%.
Even great players have slumps, and Charles is going to have to recognize that he's in one and try to start getting some cheap, easy shots, but that's not as easy said as done because Olajuwon is wiping out everything in the middle.
1:30 to go, and the Houston Rockets have the ball and the lead by 10.
All the Rockets want to do is move the ball, make the Suns make a mistake at the defensive end, and capitalize either with the cheap field goal, there's one, or free throw.
Olajuwon with his 26th point under his playoff average, but he has been a huge player again in this one, both defensively. Has been part of the stoppage of this Phoenix attack. Barkley gets a three. It'll be a quiet three with 1 minute to go. 9-point lead.
He can just dump that side to slave. We got to save some energy now.
Now, how do you figure this? Here, 2 teams have played 4 times, 2 and 2, home and home. Each one at home, both games in the regular season. Now they get in the playoffs, and each team apparently is going to lose both home games. Reigns gets a second chance and converts. 39 seconds to go in a timeout.
Maxwell.
Vernon Maxwell holding his right wrist. We'll check on that condition after we pause for this word from your local station. Back in Phoenix, they attend Vernon Maxwell. It was his left wrist that he was holding as he left the court. We'll get a report if time permits. Right wrist, I guess. And Smith able to get the ball down court. 2 up time.
That's all they want to do is pass the ball around, use all of the 24, and right now the Phoenix Suns are showing that they're a defeated team. They're not really challenging. They've got to get a bunch of points in a short period of time.
Smith with Elliott Perry seeing his first duty guarding in, and Smith takes it to the hole. Just to add to the Houston lead, 105-96, and 21 of those from Kenny Smith. So Smith with 21, Akeem with 28, Thorpe with 12 points and 13 rebounds.
Barkley's going to hold it. That's the game.
The Phoenix Suns, who came home after 2 big wins in Houston, feeling they were on their way to the Western Finals, to find that the Rockets have a lot of character. To Phoenix, they have 2 wins. It's a best of 3 starting Tuesday night in Houston. So long, stay tuned for Game 3.